Hi there, everybody. This is Dina Rost on Maori Churr TV. I'm just waiting for Dave Jeffs to come online. He has I just got a call from him, and there's apparently a storm down there, and he got stuck in the storm. So he said he's trying to make it. He can make it online here anyway. But I just want to talk a little bit about Maori Churr TV. Maori uh, is a word of the indigenous people of mainland New Zealand, Maori, and the word "chur" it's a slang. It's a slang that we use back in New Zealand. And I'll give you an example. They say like, "Chur, bro, that's a nice car you're driving," or "Chur, that's a nice house you're living in." So that's the word where the word comes from. Chur. It's a slang. TV, it's not television. It's talking voices, and it's where your voice can be heard right here on Maori Churr TV. And my friend is supposed to be up today, Dave Jeffs. He's from Radio KLA Talks 2020. KLA, that's Kiwis Living Abroad. And I believe Dave was having a hard time getting to his studio because of the weather down in Richmond, Virginia. Apparently, there's a storm down there, so he's been trying to get to it. Anyway, I'm just waiting for him to come on. So, Chair, thanks, Jonathan. So, I hopefully we can wait for him to come on. But while we're waiting for him, I just want to make an announcement that at 5 o'clock I've got another show coming on, which is Five Alive. Five Alive at 5, where I sing 5 songs at 5 o'clock. And that's another show that I do at 5 o'clock. So it's every Saturday at 3 o'clock. There's Talking Voices, where I have a friends, that come on and to join me, and then I can you know, I can find out where they're from and what they do. So it's pretty exciting, and I'm just I'm happy to have Dave. Dave's coming on here, and I'll just have a quick chat with Dave. He's right here, so let me see if I can pull him up, and we'll get him. There he is.
Yeah,
How you
hey, how
how
are
you
you,
doing?
Dino?
Pretty good, pretty good. So we've just gone live right here, and I'll just take this other picture off the one that's up there of you. So you've got a bit of a storm going there, I believe. Is that correct, Dave?
That's right. Yes, I was just sitting in the studio
Right.
about 20 to 3 and went to log into the site here, and all of a sudden the old light starts flickering and the power went out. So
Wow.
yeah, got into a little panic mode and jumped in the truck and raced on
There you
down the
go.
line to get a signal. So we're remote at the moment, sitting in my truck, but unfortunately, not in the studio setting, and got a big ice storm coming through central Virginia.
Wow. Yeah.
And with the ice, the rain, whatever it settles on, it
Yeah.
freezes immediately, and pulled the power lines down. And on the way here, trees all down and so on. So she's a bit of a
Wow.
mess at the moment in central Virginia. Yeah,
Well,
but
I do appreciate you, doing what you have to do to get online, and you're coming through beautiful, nice, loud, and clean and clear, my friend.
that's
So,
awesome. Yep,
yeah.
awesome.
So that's
But
really cool. Yeah.
we made
Thank
it
you.
happen, anyways.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You sure made it happen. All right, man. Very good. I appreciate that. And, thank you for what you've done, man. You've come on, and now we can, carry on with the show here. So,
Absolutely right.
yeah. So, Dave, thanks very much for coming on. And there's a lot of people that want to know where you're from and what you do, like back home in New Zealand. And now
Sure.
you've come over here. You've come over to the States, and you're working in the States. But New Zealand, you're from a place called Whangamata. Is that
That's
how you
correct.
pronounce
Yep.
it?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I left school in Whangamata there and started at Whangamata Panel and Paint had the opportunity as a young fella to do some panel beating down there, and started in 1985 to 1991. And I was sitting at home in my flat one day in Whangamata reading the paper on a Sunday, and there was a advertisement in there for Camp Counselors USA. So I was like, hey,
Wow.
let me apply for that. I wouldn't mind going for a little travel around, and got accepted. And they placed me up in camp by Rochester, New York, which was in upstate New York. So
Wow.
came over there for the summer, and that was pretty cool. I was working at a camp with physically disabled children and so on. So it was very rewarding.
Yeah.
One of the guys that worked there, his dad was the manager of the EMS division down at the paramedic ambulance in the city of Rochester. He said, you want to come for a tour one day down to the base and have a look around? So I got down there, and his dad was there. He says, hey, you want a job? You want to be a medic? I'm like, oh, hey, man, and something for a Kiwi to get out there. So I had to head back to New Zealand and, get all my paperwork in order and all that, come back, studied at through the Monroe Community College up there in Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
And I was got out, did my field training, and I was a medic for 3 years full time in 1993 to 96. And that was in the inner city of Rochester, New York. So definitely seen some crazy stuff, and shootings and stabbings were pretty much the norm.
Well, Dave, I've done some research on you. So
Okay.
yes, I've done some research on you. But now for those that don't know where Whangamata is, it's in the North Island.
North Island, yep.
People on here, like even from New Zealand, they don't know where it is. So can you tell them where it is?
Sure, yeah. It's about 2 hours southeast of Auckland, and it's just across the hills from Thames out on the coast there, and it's at the base of the Coromandel Peninsula.
Right.
And population's about 4,000. When I left, it was about 4,000. But as you know, in the summertime with the beach and all, it gets up to 30, 40, 50,000 population. All the holiday makers coming down to their batches and so on.
Yeah.
But,
talking
like
about
I say,
the beach. Look,
what's that, sorry?
Talking about the beach, I've got a picture of the beach up there. It's that with the two islands, I think, and I think you lived around that area, correct?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I had a flat that was just down by the wharf, just back off the beach a bit there, and sit in my lounge, and you look out the window, and you're looking at the island, which is Clark Island, and that island out there, the biggest one that's the closest there, you could walk out to that at low tide and have a look around the island for a bit, and then once you make sure you're on your way back before the tide starts coming in. Otherwise, you'll be sitting there for about 2 hours and 6 hours or whatever it is, waiting for the tide to come back in. But great place. My grandparents had a farm just out of Whangamata, and we never missed a Christmas there growing up and so on.
Oh, that'll be a long swim back, eh? That'll be a long swim back.
Oh yeah, especially that got a lot of
Yeah.
octopus down there and everything. So you make sure you're on your way back. It's about waist deep heading out there, but all in all, pretty good. Yeah.
So the next picture I have, I don't know if you can see the pics on your phone that I'm putting up. If you don't, I can tell you what they are.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
You
I
see the
don't see
pictures? Yeah. Okay. So the next picture I got here, I believe this lady,
Yep, that would be my mother.
Right on.
And yeah, sure. She's all back there in Whangamata, as is all my family all back there. And she's the best mother out, and she loves to come over here too. She comes over about every second year and every 2 years and so on. And I talked to her just the other day, as a matter of fact, and she was talking about heading over. And I said, you don't want to come over right at this time, getting over here and having a good old time and then heading back to spend 14 days in the isolation. So, we told her just to hang on there and be patient a little bit. But the sad thing is she lost her husband just a couple of days before Christmas this year. So,
right.
And, so it was pretty sad for the family there. But, my brothers and sisters are back there, and there's a lot of support and everything. So, as strong as she is, she gets along and does very well. Yeah. So Pam's her name. And
I heard she's tuning in today. Is that correct?
Should be tuning in today. Yeah, I would have
Yes,
seen her there, but
I'm just yeah, I'm trying to see if I can see it on because I can see everybody's tuning in. So, yeah, if she's tuning in, I'll let you know, or maybe I've
yep,
missed it
that's it.
too. So,
Yeah,
yeah, and this gentleman here, this
that
is somebody
would
you
be
know,
yeah, that would be my dad, Wally Jeffs.
right on.
He yeah, as a kid we grew up in Tokoroa. Before moving to Whangamata, I went to Whangamata my early teenage years, and he was a log stacker driver out there at Kinleith, and worked, from the 70s through up into the 80s. And he was also a union delegate. So he took care of a lot of people out there and kept them honest, I guess you could say. So great guy. But unfortunately, he passed away at an early age of 42, and back in the late 80s. So it was a big shock to everybody, of course, and
Sure, yeah,
unexpected. And the thing about that, what I got out of it was it made me realize that life is too short. So
mhm, mhm,
that's what inspired me to get up and get uh, you know travel around and see
sure,
the world, sort
yeah,
of thing. So
right.
yeah,
Now
so
now, are you a bit of a sports fan here? I think, do you drive those, cars, do you, Dave?
yeah, that's me there in the number three, the black number three
Right
there with
on.
Wangwata written along the side. My dad, as a matter of fact, was a speedway fanatic. He was a member of the Kihi Kihi Speedway back in the 70s, and he started out doing the uh, sidecar motorbikes there, and he was the back rider there, the swinger or whatever they called him. And he gave that up. It was a little too dangerous, of course, but then he went to solo bikes, and
Oh,
that's
really?
pretty much what got me inspired as well. So I
Wow.
did 2 seasons, and I was a member of Bay Park Speedway um, from 88 to 89. And,
Right.
I gave it a go. It was a lot of fun. I couldn't compete with the big guys, of course, with the big $30,000, $40,000 race cars and all. But
Yeah,
I was out there having a little fun and crashing and bashing, but definitely good. Went
yeah.
to Rotorua a few times, and it was a good fun, and chalked it off to a great experience, I suppose you could say. Yeah.
So
So,
this gentleman here, this one of the drivers for the car, I believe, and
uh,
the 2 boys there, those are your sons, correct?
yeah, that's right. That'll be Connor on the left. He's 17, and Tane is on the right hand side there. And the guy in the middle, last summer, I took him up to
Right.
Pennsylvania. We went and watched some sprint cars. And that guy in the middle there was actually the winner of the night, the overall racing. And, we were able to approach him and say, hey, can we get our photo taken? And the boys thought it was the greatest thing out, and meeting
Oh,
a big
nice. Yeah, yeah.
race car driver. So they had a good time. Yeah. So,
Oh, cool. Now
yeah, so that was exciting for
yeah,
them. They'd never been to an event like that before. So it was fantastic. Yeah.
and you got, one of your sons is he's playing here at, lacrosse.
Yep. That's the oldest son there, Connor. He's the goalie for the high school lacrosse team at his high school in Powhatan
Right.
County, which is here in Virginia. And, he goes hard out. They had a big season last year, and pretty much topped the championship. And he's right into it. I watched him a
Nice.
couple of times play,
Yeah,
and, he gets in that goal and makes sure he sees his boundaries, and he owns it pretty
yeah.
much. So, yeah, but enjoyable. So he loves
So
it. Yep.
yeah. Okay, so this building here, this is in the States. I think this is when you came over here and you worked at this place. This is a correction center, I believe, isn't it? Is
That's
that the
correct.
one?
Yep, that's work for the Virginia Department of Corrections, and that's one of the facilities here in the state of Virginia. But there's a story that goes with that, Dino. And I went when I was doing the medic stuff up in Rochester. I moved back to New Zealand in 1996, and I was New York State certified ambulance medic. And I got down to New Zealand, and I was able to change my qualifications over through the New Zealand Ambulance Board down there in Wellington, and did a bit of work with the St. John Ambulance in Tauranga in New Zealand, and the Bay of Plenty there.
Right.
But the funny thing is, when I came back to Virginia here, the Virginia Department of Health wouldn't recognize my New Zealand qualifications, so I had to recertify to become a medic again, and that's what I wanted to get to into in Virginia. So
Wow.
signed up and recertified through a company in just south of Richmond, Chesterfield Fire and EMS. And about a quarter of the way through the recertification, the prison job come up. So I applied, just to keep me going there, and got in there. And I'd given them 11 years. I was 4 years as an officer, and then was promoted to sergeant. So retired. I started there in 2005 and retired in 2016 as a sergeant.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a great experience. And as an officer, I was working down in the segregation area there with the hardest of the hardest, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. And
Yeah. Yeah.
but got promoted to sergeant, and then was back out in population. But I tell you what, it was definitely had your wits about you. And towards the end there, you establish yourself inside there, and definitely gain respect from the offenders, and they
Absolutely. Yes.
knew, yeah, they knew exactly not to cross the line, because it'd be a bad day sort of thing. But it's
Yeah.
yeah,
So let me
but
show you this picture of now this guy you're with. He's tall. He looks very tall.
yep, that's back up in Rochester. And that was my one of my medic partners there. And his name is Dan Capon, and he was a medic for a while up there. And we had a great time. He's about 6'3", 6'4", and we hit it on pretty good. And up there, when you started your shift, you got in and got your batteries for the life packs and your drug boxes and so on. And you were pretty much pointed to which ambulance you're on for the day. And you were out on the road pretty much for the whole shift, let it be a 10, 12, 14-hour shift. And you had to be pretty cool with your partner and so on, just to make the day go by. And we got to a point that I knew exactly what he needed. And at the time,
Yeah.
we're working on
Yeah.
patients and so on. And
Yeah.
one good thing too was he played rugby up there for local rugby team
He's a
up in
big boy.
Rochester. So
He's a big boy.
yeah, so we hit it off pretty good. And we got on pretty well. And
Nice.
yeah, so it was awesome. It made the day go by, and less stress, I suppose. And like I said earlier, we've seen some stuff up
Right.
there that you wouldn't wish upon anybody. But it was a definitely great experience, and really an eye opener for a Kiwi
Yeah.
working in the inner city on the ambulances there.
That's for
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely crazy.
So you have a story about this ambulance here that I've got a picture up here.
Yep, that ambulance was pretty famous up there in Rochester, New York. It was the number on it was 770. It no longer exists. Uh, what the mechanics were working on it at some point, and somehow it caught fire and burnt to the ground in the middle of the night at the mechanic shop. And that was the end of that. But that was myself and my partner's ambulance that we used to be in all the time. And they used to have a tachometer meter in there, which read your speed and what time you were doing that speed for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
And my buddy there, he had a little key that could get into that thing and take the meter out. So
That's
we'd
back
be
in the
racing
days.
along.
Back in the days.
We'd be racing along all day, and the other ambulances would be like, "Man, you guys were hauling today." And no, we were doing the correct speed that we are
Yeah.
supposed to be doing, and so on. End of the shift, put it back in there. But
Yeah.
anyway, it was the fastest ambulance in Rochester, and unfortunately, it got torched to the ground. But
Yeah.
I get that photo and post it online about once every year, and get a
Right.
kick out of it. And my mate up there gets a kick out of it too. So we're still in contact since the '90s and so on. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
great guy. And like I say, he had to have that special bond out there, which made the day go by, and
Yeah.
eased a lot of the stress. So yeah.
Yeah. So Dave, talk to me about how you got started in the radio. This is in the radio business. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I got a call from Coromandel FM up in New Zealand about April last year, and they wanted to interview me in regards to the coronavirus and what was going on around the world. And I did an interview with them, and it got me thinking, seeing stuff on social media and people overseas, like in the US and in the UK and so on. Kiwis feeling stranded, and it was a big scary thing there first off when it first come out. So I was like, now's a good time to put a radio show together. And as a kid, I was inspired as well. I used to go down to Radio Forestland in Tokoroa when I lived there as a kid, and entered competitions and went down there a few times. And it was sort of inspiring. And like I say, April was a good time to get it going. And had a podcast type platform at Starters, and then got an offer from a UK company, which I'm on now,
Right.
which is radio.co. And they have the platform is pretty much like exactly as a radio station. And I got provisions on there to go live, but we're working on that as we speak. And, basically just to get out there around the world and just,
Yeah, exactly.
just make Kiwis, we've interviewed a few Kiwis just to say hi. And, we had,
So
had a few Kiwis.
KLA, what does it stand for again?
KLA Talks is Kiwis living abroad, and the show streams 24/7. You can tune in at any time around the world. It streams around the world, and you're going to hear some songs and Kiwi classics in there. And the talks are actually scheduled times. I put them on there at 10 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and 8 o'clock at night. And got a as you know about the time zones around the world. So 3 o'clock in the afternoon is 8 o'clock in Ireland and the UK. And just had a gentleman on from Auckland, New Zealand, who's living in Ireland at the moment. And he was on last week. And we had a gentleman by the name of Dino Roster on the show here.
Yes,
just
you
after
did.
Christmas. So
Yes,
we had a good
I
talk
have
with
been
it.
on your show. I have been
Yes,
on your
right.
show,
Yeah.
and thank you very much too for that. I really do appreciate that. That was great. Yeah.
You're
So,
welcome. No
yeah,
problem at all. So I just try to, just see how Kiwis are doing around the world,
yeah,
and just chat away. We even had Jody Vaughan on, Kiwi country singer, songwriter, on there just before Christmas, just to say hi and shout out to the Kiwis pretty much. And she was also releasing a new single. So she
cool.
come on the show, and
Yeah.
we've had Nikki Bennett from up there, Kiwi living up
Oh, in
in Chicago
Chicago.
as a
Yeah,
nurse. Or in
Nikki
the
Kevin. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we even had Belinda Tibbles up there, the
Yeah.
administrator for Kyoto DC Kiwis,
Yep.
and
Yep.
had a crop dressing pilot on there about November as well, and he was on there talking about living abroad and life in
Right.
Australia. So big variety, and the administrator from the Kiwis in London was on the show
Right.
back about November, and he was talking about how the Kiwis over in London are feeling so isolated. They went on the big lockdown just before
Yes.
Christmas,
Yes.
and just to see how it's going, just to let them know that we're thinking of them. So we had him on the show, and he tries to organize events, and of course, with the lockdowns in London this year, they had to do their virtual Christmas, pretty much like Kyoto USA Kiwis were doing this year, and Kyoto DC Kiwis.
That's right.
Otherwise, if there was no lockdowns, the Kiwis would be out there in London tearing it up, doing their pub crawls,
Yeah.
etc. So,
Now,
but
now with the storm going on down there in your area, and I've got a tractor here, so
right.
I guess you'll be using that to help with the storm. Eh?
Yeah, I brought that tractor a couple of months ago, and I got when I retired from the Department of Corrections, come
Right.
out there with a pretty good packet. So got 14 acres out in about
Nice.
probably 45, 15 minutes out of Richmond, west of
Right.
Richmond. So this farmer was selling up all his gear and selling up everything and moving down to Florida to nicer weather to retire, I guess. So he had the tractor there, and I was like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
see what we can do. So I went and had a look at it, and brought the tractor. And about 2 weeks ago, Dino, we had about 5.5 inches of snow. So I had to plow on the back there, and I was ready to go out and do some grading along the driveway and get the driveway cleared and so on, and
There you
clear a
go.
bit of the other mess. But
That's
I get out there ready for its big maiden voyage and put it to work, but it wouldn't crank over a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, man, what's going on here? What had happened was the transmission had moisture in it. And
oh
because it
yeah,
was so cold, the old transmission, it froze up like an ice block and it wouldn't come out of gear in order
mhm,
to start.
yeah,
So I got home that following week and it was warm enough where the ice had thawed out. So drained all the transmission oil out there and put
you're
some new
good to go.
transmission oil. And, oh yeah, she runs like a beauty now. So good to go. I'm out there in my red band gumboots and
Yeah. So here I got a
it's
picture of you up there. I think is this your work at your work? You've got a long
yeah, that's
shirt on
yeah, that's at the body shop. I retired, like I say, from the Department of Corrections in 2016 and got back
here.
into the panel beating. As you know,
Yeah.
they
Oh
call it collision
yeah,
repair over here, or
that's
body
right.
collision, or repair.
I was just gonna talk I was just gonna talk to you about that because over here, it's collision repair and that, but back home it's panel beating, you know?
Yeah, right. So, lucky for me, with my career in the early days, I was
Yeah,
able to fall back on that and got back into the panel beating side of things. But local company just west of Richmond, and
yeah.
it took a while for me to get back into it because when I was in New Zealand doing panel beating, there was the old Falcon 500s and HQ Holdens and so on, and they were real panels back then, but now everything seemed to be plastic these days,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
just getting used to the plastic bumpers and the plastic
Gotcha.
clips and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
Is this
my boss was pretty patient, and got
is this a
me
picture of
rolling
your,
again. So
I've got a picture, I think, of your crew where you work or your boss? Is
yep,
that,
that's
yeah, I think that's your boss, right?
yeah, that's the crew there, and the boss is up the back there, the wearing the black shirt on the right hand side there, and he's mid 30s, and got it going pretty good. We got to do a lot of major insurance companies, work with a lot of major insurance companies, and rental car company as well. So it definitely keeps us busy, and it's great all the time. And the guy in the back there in the middle is old
Yeah.
PJ. He keeps us laughing and makes the day go by as well. But like I say, it's a great job and keeps me busy. So got to
Well,
keep that day job at the moment. So yeah, luckily I had me still did a bit of panel beating on the side as well on
well,
my days
I
off.
got a picture.
And
I
the
got a picture of you. I think you're relaxing. You're on a day off here, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much on my day off, like I say, I'm out on the property. If I'm not kicking around in my red bands
Yeah.
out on the 14 acres, I'm just kicking back and relaxing and, work hard, play hard, and rest hard sort of thing. So, yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
good stuff.
that's me
Yeah.
right there. And I got
Yes.
a couple of tree stands out in the woods too. So I go
Oh,
deer
yeah,
hunting and deer hunting season. So,
yeah.
love that too. So, yeah.
So
But,
is this your brother and sisters, or because
yeah,
yeah, this picture here, I don't know if you can see.
yeah, that's good. I had to get that one on there because they work hard and play hard as well, and on the weekends they like to have a beer. And that's my sister down there, the bottom right, and my two brothers, Murray on the left and Craig at the top, and their partners, Kieran down the bottom there, and June and Anamika up on the left there. And like I say, they like to have a brew on the weekends. And one thing, when they have a brew, they lose track of time, and they have no idea. They're all back down in New
That's
Zealand
a
there,
Kiwi
so
way, man. That's a Kiwi
yeah,
way. You lose
they
track
lose
of time. Yeah, no
they
worries,
lose
no
track
worries.
of time. But they call the house at about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Hey, get out of bed, man! Yeah, so yeah,
Oh,
it's
so you
definitely
wanna get
funny.
back
So
at them now, right? You're getting back
there
at them.
you go. Got
Yeah,
the photo right there to
yeah,
get back at them. So yeah, but
good on
no,
you.
it's good.
It's a
That,
good
like I
on
say,
you.
they're all down there. But yeah, we can definitely keep in touch all the time. And that was one of the photos that I thought, oh yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get back at them here. So
nice
yeah, but
one,
other
nice
than that,
one. No,
yep,
that's good. So, because we're getting to the end of the show now, and, I just wanna show something here that, you can tell us about this car here. I think this is one that, or what
Yeah, that's a Ford Falcon 500, 1966 two-door. And when I was working for the Department of Corrections there, I worked 5 days on and 5 days off. So on my 5 days off, I, worked for a guy in Richmond there and kept my skills up, my panel beating skills. And he wanted this car restored. And like I say, it's a 1966 Falcon 500 two-door.
Looks pretty
So restored, yeah,
sweet.
restored that pretty much from the
Yeah,
ground up, and
cool.
all new inside, interior, and had the motor all done and trans and everything like that. And he took it up to a show in Pennsylvania, as a matter of fact, and had some good views on it and everything. So, but like I say, it just kept me busy as well on my days off, and restored it up for him. So
Yeah.
it was good doing it too. It sort of made me feel like home a little too, being the old Falcon 500.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
left hand drive, but yeah. So
So yeah, well, Dave, I just want to thank you for coming on, my friend. But we want to talk about your radio show too. If you have any more questions or anything you want to promote your radio show.
yeah, sure. Thanks, Dino. Yeah, like I
Yeah,
say,
go ahead. Yeah.
we're on Facebook, and you can find us and join us on Facebook if you like at KLA Talks 2020,
Uh-huh.
and we're on there. I put the shows on every week, and the link is on there. And if you're around the world, you can also be on the show, and you can send
Right.
me an email at klatalks2020@gmail.com. And I'll answer your email right away, and we'll get you on the show. Everything, all the talks are pre-recorded, so there's no live recordings
Yes.
there with
Yeah.
the talks and so on, just for conflict of scheduling and time zones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we have a website up and running as well, which is klatalks.com, and you can find the link on that site. And we're still working on that site at the moment and just building it as we go. But like I say, always looking to improve, and
Correct. Yes.
building the station up every time. But I was in the studio probably about 20 minutes to 3 today. Like I say, getting ready to roll, and the old lights started flickering, and I had to make it happen. And come hell or high water, I
This
knew
is
this
this
was
is
going to go
perfect.
down at 3 p.m. So
Well, I'll tell
we
you
made
what.
it happen, and
It's
yeah,
fantastic. Just worked out fine. You're coming through loud and clear and nice and clear and everything, Dave. So I really do appreciate you coming on, and let's hope we can, get more people coming on to our shows. Your show, my show.
absolutely
Especially Kiwis. We want to find out what they're doing around the world, and where they come from and what they're doing now, and why did they leave
right.
New Zealand to travel around. So it's amazing that there's a lot of Kiwis out there that got some great, great stories to tell. And guys like
Absolutely.
you and guys like me, we can, hey, bring them on, and let's hear
Absolutely.
it. Let's hear it, man. So it's
Right.
just,
Absolutely.
so it's great, Dave. So thanks very much, my friend. I appreciate you coming on to Maori Churr TV on Talking Voices, my friend.
Been
Awesome.
a pleasure. Been a pleasure, Dina. I appreciate you having me on the show.
All right, my friend. Thanks very much. Everybody, I'll be back here at 5 o'clock on 5 Alive at 5 o'clock right here on Maori Churr TV. Kia ora. See you, Dave. Kia ora, bro.
Thank you.